Okay, hello. We are live again. It is Saturday at about 4 o'clock Eastern time. I decided to go live for a bit. I haven't covered live coverage. I'm a therapist, I'm a human being, I'm a Catholic, I'm all sorts of things, and I'm live coveraging this Hawaii case. I don't like to say the names because I'm not going to give any more glory to someone who tried to allegedly push his wife off of a cliff. So I'm calling it the Hawaii case. But I have been requested to do some more coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and spend a couple minutes here doing day 6, I believe.
A magnet
Detective
certified instructor, and I
started.
completed the examination at NCFI.
So to be a Magnet certified forensic examiner, you were also trained by a representative from Magnet Software.
Yes.
Have you attended any? Right. Have you ever performed on the job any cell phone extractions?
Yes.
Approximately how many cell phone examinations have you performed?
Over 600 cell phones.
Have you ever provided, or have you ever done any computer extractions or examinations?
Yes.
Approximately how many?
For computers, I would say about 40 to 50, somewhere between.
Have you ever been
Having
qualified to
popcorn,
provide
I'll try and be
opinion
quiet.
testimony
I will
in
actually
court
mute
in
myself.
Hawaii?
Yes.
Approximately how many times?
5 times.
At this point, the state requests that pursuant to HRE Rule 702, Detective Inuma be qualified to provide opinion testimony in the field of digital forensics.
Can we approach, Your Honor?
Sure.
I ordered myself some new glasses from this company called Kits.
Oh my god.
Okay, so hopefully it's a quick sidebar. We just got started and we're already sidebarring. So hopefully they can come back quickly. This, like I said, I'm going backwards in time. My past couple of lives were mostly of day 8, a little bit of reflection on day 7. This is day 6. So we're starting here with a member of the Honolulu Police Department. Because I'm not technically live in the case, I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of fast forwarding in case this is a live or a long sidebar.
Which was an iPhone.
Here we go.
Evidence item number 43, which was a SIM card. And evidence item number 48, which was a laptop.
Okay. Detective Inuma, we're going to start and go through those 3 items in order. So let's start with the cell phone, item number 42. What kind of cell phone was it?
It was an Apple iPhone.
And, okay. Did you use a program to try and examine item number 42, the Apple iPhone?
Yes.
What program did you use?
It was one called Freaky.
When you received it, I'm sorry, and then did you receive the iPhone from the evidence room or from the detective?
For this one, the item number 42 and 43, I received it from Detective Tracy Spacek.
Spacek?
Sorry.
Okay. When you received it,
nervous.
was the iPhone turned on or turned off?
It was turned on.
Which makes
And I'm sorry, you said the program used was GrayKey, is that correct?
Yes, Freaky.
Were you able to access all of the data on the iPhone using GrayKey?
No,
Why not?
because the phone was off, and when the phone is off, we call it that the phone is in a state of BFU, which is before first unlock. When the phone is in a BFU state, that means that the data within the phone is all encrypted, so we can't pull all the data out. When the person enters,
Sorry, I'm going to stop you there. So were you able to access any data from the iPhone?
yes,
What kind of data were you able to access?
I was able to get the make, the model, the name, the Apple or the email address that is associated to the phone. Also got the telephone number and then the software. And then the IMEI is the serial number.
With that limited information that you had, were you able to determine who the owner of the iPhone was?
Yes,
Who was that?
it was Gerhard Koenig.
Were you able to find any associated email accounts with that iPhone, which was item number 42?
Yes,
Okay. Which email accounts?
So there were 6 email address that was associated with that phone. There was 2 particular that I know offhand. The first one is Konig, so it's spelled GKONIG at gmx.com. And then the second one that was associated with that phone was gkonig, same spelling, at proinbox.com.
Were you able to access things like call history, message history, photos, internet searches?
No,
And once
Too
you
bad.
got to that point where you couldn't access anything else, did you continue examining the iPhone?
not the iPhone itself.
All right, Detective Inuma, let's move on to item number 43. And that was a SIM card you mentioned, right?
Yes.
Okay, first off, what is a SIM card?
So SIM card is basically stands for subscriber identity module. So it's the chip that's inserted inside the cell phone, which will allow you to connect to the mobile network, such as T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon.
And how does a SIM card work in an iPhone like the one that you examined?
So this one was an iPhone 13 Pro. So iPhone 13 Pro is the last model from Apple that has a physical SIM card slot. Anything
Sorry.
newer from iPhone 14 and newer doesn't have a SIM card slot. It's all electronic SIM card. So for this one in particular, it was an iPhone 13 Pro. So there's a SIM card slot. And there's an ejection port within the phone.
Okay. I'm going to put on the screen next to you, Detective Inuma, States Exhibit number 85, which is already into evidence. Okay. Could you take that wooden pointer that's against the back wall behind you, and could you point out to us what the 2 items in this photograph are?
Yes. So this item over here on the left, this is the SIM card slot.
I'm gonna go a little faster
And then the
because
one
this is pretty basic
On the
stuff.
right is the actual SIM card. So the SIM card is inserted onto this SIM card tray, which is then placed inside the phone.
Okay. And now I'm going to publish States Exhibit number 84, already in evidence. And I'm going to zoom into the center portion.
Oh, okay.
Of
We're
this
not gonna go
photograph.
fast now. Yeah.
Okay. Detective Inuma, what are we looking at this part of the photograph?
Okay.
So this is the part I was mentioning about. So this is where where you would insert the SIM card tray in here. And if you look at this photo right over here, you can see that the SIM card tray is not inside the phone.
How do you remove the SIM card tray?
So we have this tool, which is basically the SIM card removal tool. It's about 1/2 inch long, and then the tip is very small, it's the size of like a pinhole, and we insert it inside this hole right over here. You have to apply some force to it, and then the SIM card slot will eject.
Are there any household items that can be used along with that official SIM card tool that you mentioned?
Yeah.
You can literally use an earring to get those things open. An earring, as most of you probably know.
We're here because God
My.
still
What's
needs our
this?
support.
Headlines fade.
Okay. I know him. Okay. Let's try and get the playback speed a little bit faster. Oh. Okay, let's see here.
All right, can you describe for us how you conducted the examination of the laptop?
How I conduct it. Okay, so once I removed the solid state drive from the laptop, I used a equipment called the Tabloid TX1. That is basically an imager that was issued to us by the U.S. Secret Service. So it's a built-in write blocker, meaning that there's no data that's going to be written onto the evidence.
Okay, I don't know about you, but that's
And from there,
too fast for me.
I would make
Do
an
you-
image of the hard drive and then place it onto a working copy. For images, image means in the terms of digital forensic, image means make an exact copy. So it's a bit by bit. So for example, if you have a piece of paper with writing on it, you go to a Xerox machine, you make a copy, you get a same copy. So that's basically what the process I did to extract the data from the laptop.
And you mentioned the TX1 program to do the imaging?
Yes.
were you trained in the TX1 program?
Yes,
Were you acting in accordance with your training on the TX1 program when you imaged item number 48, the laptop in this case?
yes,
And once you image or make a copy of the contents of the hard drive, sorry, scratch that. I'm going to start the question again. Did you make an image of the entire contents of the hard drive?
yes.
So once you make the copy or the image of the entire contents of the hard drive, what did you do with it?
So after I made a copy of it, so it provided me with the hash, and then I look at the data on the screen, and it was a successful transfer of data, and I verified the hash. Hash is a mathematical algorithm. It's made up of both numbers and characters to show that the data wasn't changed. So if it was changed, it was tampered with, then I'll know that something is wrong with this instruction.
Okay.
And did the hash value of the image match what you were looking to compare it with?
Yes,
Okay. And once you saw that the hash values matched, what did that tell you?
that it was a true copy.
Okay. So now you have the hashed copy of the image from the hard drive. What's the next step in your examination?
So the next step is I put it into my forensic computer, and that's where I use a software called Axiom. And Axiom is a software used to analyze data such as computer, hard drive, SD card. You can also do it for cell phones too.
And this is the Axiom. Is this from the Magnet company you mentioned earlier?
Yes,
And are you certified in the Axiom software?
yes,
Were there any limitations to the data that you were accessing?
yes,
Were there any time limitations?
yes.
What were the time limitations that you were using?
So based on the search warrant, the time limitation was from December 1st, 2024 to March 24th, 2025.
Were there any content limitations to what you were accessing?
Yes.
And do you recall all of those content limitations? How does the content limitations work?
So there were a total of 32 key terms that was listed in the search warrant. So I have to abide by the law to only search for key terms within the search warrant. I can't go outside the scope of the search warrant.
Okay. And then how do you use the Magnet software to limit the data to those time constraints and the content limitations that you just described?
Okay, so for the Axiom software, I'm the only one that has the full copy, the full access. So as soon as the Axiom software is loaded onto my computer, first thing I did was I filtered it through the date range. So on one of the toolbars, you can actually input the date. So I inputted December 1st, 2024 to March 24th, 2025. And I pressed OK. And it basically filtered only to those dates. And I can't see anything outside of those dates.
And then how do you filter through the content limitations?
Okay, so as far as the content, so I had the search warrant next to me. So I would type in, I'll use the filter feature as well. I would type in each of the keywords that was listed on the search warrant. So those 32 keywords that was listed. Each one, I would flag it with a different color code. So I know that the reason why I flagged it is because it meant certain keywords.
All right. When you examine the laptop, how many user profiles were on the laptop?
There were a total of 3 user profiles.
Of those 3 user profiles, how many of them were active?
There were only 1 active user account.
Okay, so those other 2 profiles,
It was disabled.
okay. What was the username for the single active account on that laptop?
So the username was Gkoni. So it's Gkoni.
Based on your examination of the laptop, was there a full name listed for that user G Coney?
Yes.
What was the full name listed for that user?
The full name listed was Gerhard Koenig.
Were there any email addresses attached to the username based on your examination of the data on the laptop?
Yes.
What email address?
It was Gkonig, so Gkonig @gmx.com.
Was that email, gkoenig@gmx.com, connected to any other device you examined in this case?
Yes.
What other device was that email connected to?
It was connected to evidence item number 42, which was the iPhone 13 Pro.
Were you able to determine what time zone the laptop was set to run on?
Yes.
And what time zone was that?
It was a Hawaii Standard Time.
The Wonder Oven Pro. It's built to toast, air fry,
Okay.
reheat.
Before we get to that, I'm going to ask you for a couple definitions. In digital forensics, do you use the term artifact?
Yes.
What does the term artifact mean in digital forensics?
Okay. So artifact means it's data that is stored on a digital device that is created by the user or the system itself. So for example, if you type something on the internet, for example, like Google on the search bar, if you put in a search term, without your knowledge, it's going to be recorded on the hard drive of the system. And it's going to be in the database where afterwards, using the forensic software, we can see what was entered.
And
Careful what you Google. It'll be very interesting.
which operating system was the laptop using?
It was using Windows 10 Home.
Are you familiar with the Windows 10 Home operating system?
Yes.
Does the Windows 10 Home operating system retain records of user computer activity?
Yes.
And are those records, is each record an individual artifact?
Yes.
And how does the Axiom Magnet software display artifacts?
Okay, so from the software, so it's an interface where you can see it's user friendly. So it basically translate the computer data. Computer data is presented by, we call it binary, right, 0 and 1, but it makes it translate all those coding into user friendly so we can read it. Any investigators can read it.
Does the Axiom Magnet software add any data?
No.
So it's just visualizing the data that's already contained on that image of the hard drive.
Yes.
For each artifact that you find on the hard drive, is it possible to go back to the original drive and verify the information?
Yes.
And could you tell us how somebody would do that?
So in this case, if I have the password for the computer.
Sorry, scratch that. I'll actually strike that answer.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that, Victor. Bad question. Okay. And when you look at an artifact on the laptop, is the artifact a statement of a person, or is it automatically generated data from the computer?
It could be both.
So it depends on the artifact.
Depends on the artifact.
Okay. Okay, we're going to start going through the artifacts now, Detective. So I'm going to hand you what's been marked as States Exhibit 105, already from the defense. May I approach? Yes. Okay, Detective, can you take a look through the exhibit that I just handed you, which is again States Exhibit 105?
I'm going to slow down a little bit. 'Cause it seems like it's too fast for me. It's a paper buffering. Paper.
Okay, do you agree with the exhibit?
Yes.
Okay, do you recognize what this is?
Yes.
Okay, what is this exhibit?
So this exhibits contain artifacts of searches on Reddit.
Okay.
Can I explain what Reddit
Oh,
is?
here we
Could you
go.
explain what Reddit is?
Okay.
Yes.
So Reddit is an online social media platform that allows people to share content. You can ask advice, you can give advice, and you can pretty much have any kind of discussion on any topics you want. To view Reddit, you don't need an active account. However, if you want to post comment or respond back, then you're going to have to have an active account, which is free. And within the Reddit ecosystem, they call it the subreddit. So subreddit is, in simple terms, like a community who are, passionate about certain items. So I'll give you an example. One could be like, if you like Hawaiian foods, right? So it's going to be displayed as lowercase r with the backslash. You might have like Hawaiian food, right? So people in the community who loves Hawaiian food will talk about, Hawaiian food, lau lau, lomi salmon, all that good stuff. You're not going to have people commenting about where can I buy it.
I love how he gives like examples of the
They're going to have another
I don't really
subreddit for
that,
new
so.
cars,
I'm glad to hear that.
and new cars or used cars purchases.
Okay.
Watch what magnesium does to your
Oh my.
bowels.
Okay, 1 second, guys. I will get rid of this lovely commercial.
Exhibit on the Axiom software yourself.
Yes.
Are these artifacts that you viewed in Exhibit 105? I'm sorry. Are the artifacts in this exhibit computer generated or person generated?
These were computer generated.
And
Objection, that's foundation.
Uh, overruled.
and how were these artifacts computer generated?
So these were searches.
Same objection, just do it Reddit. He's not an expert in Reddit.
Yes. Okay, so these were
Here's the
searches
next
made
one,
from
like
Google
who?
on Reddit, but the artifacts was from Google Chrome Web History.
Okay. And are the papers that you viewed as States Exhibit 105 true and accurate copies? I'm sorry, back up just a little bit. Which was the user on the laptop that these artifacts came from?
Probably
So
him.
for all of these artifacts, right, it all came from the user's name, G. Koenig.
And what was the full name for user G. Koenig again?
It was Gerhard Koenig.
And you mentioned that this was Google Chrome. Can you explain how these artifacts ended up with Google Chrome?
Yes. So Google Chrome is a internet service provider. So it's very similar to Microsoft Edge or Apple Safari. So when you type in, if you're using online activity on Google Chrome, right, all those data will be stored onto the computer.
Okay. And are these printouts that you've reviewed for Exhibit 105 true and accurate copies of the data from the user G. Koenig's internet history as related to Reddit.com?
Except for the highlighted portion, but the highlighted is the search term used within the Axiom software. It helps us investigator to locate key terms quickly. But other than that, it's a true and accurate copy.
Okay, so does the highlight mean, and what is the word highlighted in this exhibit?
So highlight means in the Axiom software in the top right corner, it's like a global search, right? So if you're looking for any keywords or just any words in general, you just type it on there and it's going to find the word that you actually inputted onto the software, and it's going to look for any key hits.
Okay.
It doesn't have to include only search warrant items that was listed in the 32 item. It can be any items because I already filtered the search warrant, we call it the image. So everything within the program is, we call it a lawful search.
Okay. What word is highlighted in this exhibit?
Finally.
The highlighted word is Reddit.
Okay. And does the highlight mean that word is any more or less important than any other word?
No.
It just means it's highlighted?
Yes.
And you said that other than the highlight, this is true and accurate copies of the data that you pulled from this laptop. Is that true?
Yes.
At this point, the state moves Exhibit 105 into evidence.
Can you just approach briefly here on a trip?
Okay, so he's trying to cover all his bases and be able to admit whatever's in the Reddit area. I'm assuming defense is going to try and somehow. Yeah, he just smirked. Yeah, that was a little smirk there. So yeah, not my choice, but wouldn't be my choice if I was being accused of what he's being accused of. But just going to see if we can bump ahead here a bit. If this is a longer one. Here we go.
Photograph as well.
Okay. So
Okay, so here's the
right here, if you look at this is the 927 gigabyte. Just to give you context, that's how much data was recovered from the overall extraction. It was a 1 terabyte drive. The user is basically the user of this laptop. So it was assigned to a user named G. Koenig. And it as you follow it down, that's the path it used to locate this data, which is under the Google Chrome, the user data, the default, and the history.
Got it. Okay, thank you for explaining. Okay, Detective Inuma, I'm going to go on to page 2 of State's Exhibit 105. Okay, we're now looking at page 2
title
of State's
is
105.
over.
Can you explain what the last, and before we get any further, just to clarify, you already mentioned
24,
all of the artifacts in this exhibit are the same type of artifact?
Yes, it's all from the Google Chrome web history.
Okay. So when was the last visited date and time for page 2?
For this one particular,
Yes.
the last visit time was December 24, 2024 at 4:37 a.m.
And what was the title of the page that was visited at that time?
So the title is called It's Over under the subreddit as one after infidelity.
And which was the user accessing this, or yeah, which user on the laptop was accessing this?
So if you look on the source, it tells you the user name was G. Coney.
So did you make that one, or did
We're
you
gonna go to
visit
page
someone else's page that said it's
3 in the publish.
curious?
Again, what time was the last visited date and time?
The last visit date and time was December 24, 2024 at 4:55 a.m.
All right. Publishing.
4:45 a.m. That doesn't sound.
Can you tell us the last visited date and time of this artifact?
Yes. So the last visit date and time is December 24, 2024 at 4:57 a.m.
Okay. And can you
Those
tell
who
us-
have been betrayed,
if you
did
know,
you fall out of?
there's no title on this artifact, is there?
There's no title that is actually written on this side of the column, but if you just look at the URL and you
Oh, it's
follow
a
the
Chrome
path,
web
you can
visit.
easily
Okay.
identify the title of this post.
Okay. How do you identify the title of the post from the URL?
So as I was mentioning earlier, so the title, it's under the subreddit as one after infidelity. So the title is after the, on this one, it's gonna be the second page, right? After the comment box. So this is where people post their own sub-posts within the as one after infidelity, ecosystem.
Okay. All right. I want to move to the next page, which is page 5.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
One second, guys. Sorry, I don't have no commercials on mine.
Each of these now, Detective, now that you've gone through a couple of how these artifacts look, I'm just going to ask you the same thing. Could you explain to us the last visit date and time as well as the title, okay?
Yes.
So for page 5, what was the last visit date and time?
So the last visit date and time is December 24, 2024 at 4:49 a.m.
Okay, and what was the title of this page?
The title was called I Did a Horrible Thing under the subreddit as one after infidelity.
We're going
I
to go
did
to
a
page
horrible
6
thing.
now, Detective. What was the last visited date and time of this artifact?
So the last visit date and time was December 25th, 2024 at 3:23 a.m.
And what was the page visited in this?
So in this one, it was the homepage of the as one after infidelity under the Reddit website.
That was the home page of this specific subreddit.
Yes, this is the homepage, correct.
We're going to publish now page 7 of the exhibit. Okay, could you tell us the last visit date and time as well as the title?
Last visit date and time was December 25th, 2024 at 3:25 a.m. The title for this visit was called Wives, Why Did You Do It? Under the subreddit of As One After Infidelity.
Next page, page 8. Could you tell us what the last visit date and time and the page visited?
Yeah, so the last visit date time is December 25th, 2024 at 3:37 a.m. And then the homepage was the As One After Infidelity.
Page number 9 of the exhibit. Could you tell
Reoccurring
us,
theme.
what the last visited date and time is, as well as the title of this page?
Yes, it was December 25th, 2024 at 3:38 a.m. The title of the page is Peer Support, Advice, and Removals under the subreddit of As One After Infidelity.
Removals.
We'll now publish page
Sounds like you're moving a
10
piece of furniture.
of the exhibit. Could you tell us again last date and time as well as
I
title?
understand,
Yes.
but I
So it
don't
was visited
understand.
on December 25th, 2024 at 3:38 a.m. The title of this is I Understand, but I Don't Understand under the subreddit As One After Infidelity.
We're going to go to page 11, Detective. Could you tell us again the same thing?
Yes, the last visited was on December 25th, 2024 at 3:40 a.m. The title is called Those Who Have Been Betrayed. Did You Fall Out of Love with Your WP While Trying to Reconcile? Under the subreddit as one after infidelity. Do you want me to explain what WP?
No.
Okay.
He's like,
All right,
no,
sorry,
I'm
we're
good.
now on page number 12. Could you explain the last visit date and time as well as what page was visited?
Okay, the last visit date time was December 25th, 2024 at 3:44 a.m. And this was the homepage of the subreddit as one after infidelity.
Publishing now page 13 of the exhibit. Could you tell us the last visited date and time as well as the page that was visited here?
Yes, it was December 25th, 2024 at 3:44 a.m. The title is called Surviving Infidelity.
Is it the same subreddit we mentioned or is this a different one?
This is a different one. So the subreddit for the community is called Surviving Infidelity.
Okay. Moving on to the next page, page 14 of this exhibit 105. Could you tell us the last date and time as well as the title?
Yes, okay. So it's on December 25th, 2024 at 3:45 a.m. The title is called Just Found Out She Cheated under the Reddit search.
Okay, now you say Reddit search. Is this a specific subreddit?
Just by looking at the file path, it appears that it was it's one of those probably the search box within the Reddit page.
Okay.
So he didn't
So
know
the
that
search-
one.
Okay,
Just
so if you look at the
visited
URL,
that.
I'll show you this
Okay,
part.
I'll zoom into the URL as well. Okay, could you explain for us how the search affects any of this?
Yes. So for this part, if you look at the word or the letter Q, Q stands for query. So that's usually what the person put inside a search bar. Doesn't mean that they actually inputted the entire sentence. For in this case, right, it says just found out she cheated. It's like, you know, when you use Google, when you start typing in certain words, you have a Dropbox that tries to predict what you're trying to type. So
What
that's
to
basically
say.
what it is. So I don't know if the user of this device actually wrote the entire sentence or just put just and then you got the one of those Dropbox.
Mm,
Got it. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
mhm.
I'm going to take the zoom in down and move on to page number 15 of the exhibit. Okay, Detective Inuma, can you tell us the last visit date and time as well as the title of this post?
So it was last visited on December 25th, 2024 at 3:45 a.m. The title is My parenthesis 35M parenthesis wife parenthesis 32F parenthesis cheated on me 2 years ago and I forgave her after she signed a post note. But now I found out she didn't give me the full story and am strongly considering divorce again with the benefit of the prenup. How can I learn to trust her again? And this is under the subreddit relationship advice.
Got it. So this
Now,
is
did he write
the same
this?
two subreddits we've already mentioned or a different one?
So this is a new subreddit, a different community.
And this one again is called Relationship Advice.
Correct.
We're going to publish page 16 of the exhibit. Okay. Could you
A
tell us the
lot
last
of
visit date and
this
time,
on Christmas
as well
Day.
as what page was visited?
Yes, it was
Like
on
a
December
lot
25th, 2024 at
Christmas
2:15
Day.
p.m. and it was visited the homepage of As One After Infidelity.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little faster.
Page number 17 of the exhibit.
Let's go. It's that time of year
Oh,
again. Let's
geez.
take this one step further.
Let's
PointsBet is my
this
go-to
off.
place to make my college basketball.
Boop. One sec, guys. Yeah, so the common theme is subreddit on infidelity on Christmas morning, super early, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. He's obviously really struggling with thoughts about this, trying to reconcile how he felt about this.
As well as the title.
Yes, so it was visited on December 25th, 2024 at 2:16 p.m. The title is called Expecting More Disclosure under the
Sunday.
subreddit As One After Infidelity.
So we
Page
find
number
out
18
more.
of the exhibit. Could you tell us the last visited date and time as well as what the title of the page was?
Yes, so it was on December 25th, 2024 at 2:17 p.m. The title is 6 weeks out from D-Day under the subreddit As One After Infidelity.
We'll go to page 19.
60, what?
Could you tell us
16,
again last
6
visited date and
weeks
time
out
as well as
from
what page was visited?
D-Day.
Yes, so it was on
What?
December 25th, 2024 at 2:18 p.m. And this was the homepage of As One After Infidelity.
Okay, we're now on page 20, almost there, of this exhibit. Could you explain to us, same thing as always, last visited date and time as well as title?
Yes, so it was December 25th, 2024 at 2:19 p.m. And the title is Can't Have Physical Relationship with WP Anymore, under the subreddit as one after infidelity.
Page number 21 of the exhibit. Could you tell us what the last visitor date and time is, as well as explain what the URL means?
Yes. So the last visit date and time was on December 25th, 2024 at 2:22 p.m. And based on the URL, so it was under the subreddit as one after infidelity. And the user of this device searched for the term Darvo, D-A-R-V-O.
Detective,
Oh
would you
gosh,
know
here we go with the
yourself have
Darvo.
personal knowledge of what the term Darvo means.
We go with the
Prior to
Darvo.
this,
Objection, lacks foundation. It's asking a question. Go ahead, answer the question.
So do you have personal knowledge of what the term Darvo means?
Why so threatened to have a definition of the term? I don't see the big deal.
prior to this, no.
Okay. When you say prior to this, do you have personal knowledge today of what that term means?
Yes.
Okay.
Same objection.
How did you acquire that knowledge?
So I used the
Sounds like
Reddit.
a lot
I visited the
overruled.
Reddit page and I basically type in Darvo. And also use Google search to just cross-reference it to make sure that it's similar.
Okay.
Definition.
And based on your research, and sorry, was it the same Reddit page?
I just want to say before he gets into it, because I kind of know where this is going. Darvo is a term. They're going to explain it anyway. So, but sometimes abusers, because of the internet and all the different myriad of resources we have in this day and age, sometimes abusers will take psychological terms to further abuse their victims. So I'm assuming this is what's
This
about.
as one after infidelity.
Yes.
We were able then to determine what the term Darvo means.
Yes.
Detective Nemo, could you explain to us what the term Darvo means? Give it just a moment. Okay. Could you explain to us?
But that's fine.
Defense, you already
Could you explain
said your
what the
thing
Darvo
twice,
means?
bud.
So the Darvo, so it's an acronym. So the D stands for deny, A stands for attack, R stands for reverse, victim, and offender.
Thank you for explaining.
Okay, so did we hear that, everyone? Does everyone know what Darvo is? Deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender. So I'm assuming defendant thinks that because of wife's, from what I've heard so far, because of wife's wanting to discuss more about the relationship and the dynamics that have contributed to her feeling like she was reaching out to someone else, I'm assuming that he took that to mean that she is Darvoing him.
We're going to move to page number 22. Okay. Now we have page 22 of States Exhibit 105. Could you explain to us again last visit date and time, as well as
This
the
is
title?
very interesting and
Yes, so it
valuable.
was visited on December 25th, 2024 at 2:22 p.m. And the title is Dealing with Intense Limerence / Affair Fog and Darvo from My Wife. I found AP's wife's detail under the subreddit as one after infidelity.
Okay, and the visited date was December 25th at 2:22 p.m.
Yes, 2:22 p.m. correct.
Looking now at page 23 of this exhibit. Could you explain to us the last visited date and time, as well as the title?
Yes, it was visited on December 25th, 2024 at 2:24 p.m. The title is called I'm Freaking Out a Little. I'd really like some
You're
input
freaking out a
under the
little.
subreddit as one after
You're not
infidelity.
freaking out a little. You're freaking out a lot on this day.
Page number
Wait a
24
bit.
of the exhibit. Could you explain
Wait
to us the
a
last
bit.
visited date and time, as well as what's happening in this exhibit?
Yes. Okay, so last visited on December 25th, 2024 at 2:24 p.m. And the title is Darvo. And it was inside, if you just basically looking at the URL.
I wonder if we're going to be able to
So it
see
was
more
inputted
details
Darvo.
about these posts, because that would be really
Follow-up question I
helpful.
have, Detective.
Other than just the
In top
titles.
of the artifact information, there's a two words that say visit count. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so each time when you visit, it counts as one. If you visit again, it's 2, 3, 4, and so on.
So he was going
So
back 3 times.
How many times
to
did the
this.
user of this device visit this page, search for Darvo?
Based on this data 3 times.
Moving on to page number 25, could you tell us the last visited date and time, as well as what page is being visited?
Yes, so it was visited on January 15th, 2025 at 9:35 a.m. And the visited page is the as one after infidelity.
Okay. Now, could you explain to us, Detective? I see that there's a transition type and it says typed under the fourth line in this artifact information. Could you explain what that means?
Yep. So the user of the device likely type in the URL.
And last page of this exhibit, could you explain to us the last visit date and time as well as
Dive
what page was visited?
into anything.
So the last visit date and time was on January 15th, 2025 at 9:36 a.m. It was under the Reddit. The title is called Reddit Dive Into Anything.
Okay. I'm going to take the exhibit down, Detective. I'm going to retrieve the exhibit from you.
I'd like to hear some more questions about this. Wow, those were a lot of titles. I'd like some more information now. Definitely, we're looking at the Darvo term a lot, more than 3 times.
Okay. Detective, we're going to keep going. So I'm going to hand you now what's been marked as States Exhibit 106, priorly shown to Defense Counsel. May I approach? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Detective, I've handed you what's been marked as States 106. Could you take a look through real quick and look up when you're done?
The Wonder Oven Pro is an 8-in-1 non-toxic air fryer toaster.
Okay, Detective, do you recognize what I just handed you?
Yes.
Are these artifacts from your search of the laptop?
Yes.
How many artifacts are in this exhibit?
7.
And what type of artifacts are these?
These were email purchase order that was sent to the computer.
Okay. What email address were they sent to?
It was sent to gkoenig at
Sent
gmx.com.
Back to himself.
And that's the previous email you mentioned as being associated with both the computer and the iPhone. Is that correct?
So
Yes.
now he's emailing himself some
And when you said they are purchase orders, are they receipts?
Yes, it's a receipt.
receipts.
And are these
Use the
true and accurate
books.
copies of the artifacts you found on item 48, the laptop with the username gkoenig?
Yes.
And again, is there anything highlighted in these artifacts?
And this one,
Thank you for joining me. You're reacting live to day 6.
Point to
I
state
didn't
where
cover
the
it
admit
previously.
States Exhibit 106. No objection.
Mark for identification as States Exhibit 106 is received into evidence.
Okay. I'm going to publish up on the screen, Detective. I'm gonna try and move quicker this time. Who is, and this is page 1, who is the email from, or what email address is the email from?
so the email address is from audible.com. So audible.com is an online, like a digital book service where you can purchase pretty much any books, and then they'll send you a way to download the books digitally, and you can actually hear the person reading to you rather than you read it yourself.
Okay. And this email came in on what date again?
It was on December 12th, 2024 at 1:01 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. Well, before the Reddit.
And could you point us to where the title of the book that was downloaded was on the page?
Yeah, so the title of the page is right over here. It's called The State of Affairs. It's by author Esther Perel.
All right, Detective, I'm going to go through each of the 7 pages, and I'll ask you the same couple questions each time. Actually, I'll ask you 2 questions. What was the date of the email, and then what was the book, okay?
Okay.
All right, going to page 2 of the exhibit. What was the date of the email?
So it was sent on December 18th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. And the title of the book is After the Affair, 3rd edition by author Janice Spring.
Okay, we're going to go to page 3 of the exhibit. What was the date of this email?
So the date is December 18th, 2024 at 11:48 a.m. The title is called How to Help Your Spouse Heal from Your Affair by author Linda McDonald.
Okay. We're going to go to page number 4 of the exhibit, Detective. Could you tell us the date as well as the title?
Yes, so it's the date is December 18th, 2024 at 2:04 p.m. The title is called How to Help Your Spouse Heal from Your Affair by author Janet Bloom.
Page number 5. Could you tell us the date as well as the title?
Yes, the date is December 27, 2024 at 4:01 p.m. The title is called Getting the Love You Want by author Harville Hendricks.
Page number 6. Could you explain the date as well as the title?
Yes, so the date is January 7, 2025 at 4:32 p.m. And the title is called Not Just Friends by author Shirley Glass.
Okay. And page number 7. Could you explain the date as well as the title?
Yes, the date is February 14th, 2025 at 12:22 p.m. The title is called "The Let Them Theory" by author Mel Robbins.
Okay.
Oh, I know
I'm gonna
that
take
one.
the exhibit down, and Detective, I'm going to retrieve the exhibit from you.
Okay. Okay. So lots of interest in books about how to manage it, how to handle an affair. The Let Them book is more of a self-help type,
I've retrieved exhibit 106,
trying to
106,
focus on accepting the other person's behavior. That's always very interesting information that we're getting.
Okay.
Where his mind was at the
Detective,
time in
approach
December.
now with State's Exhibit 107, previously shown to defense counsel.
I have this on 1.25, just going a little bit slowly, but we're currently
Detective, I've handed you what's been marked as State's
looking
Exhibit
at some of the
107.
books that he
You take a look
purchased
and
and
read
some
them
of the
up.
Reddit titles that were coming up for him at the time in December of 2024. We'll see. Is it going a little too fast now, guys?
Okay, could you recognize what it's handed?
Yes.
Okay, what is this?
So this is part of the email file that was sent to the computer.
Okay, and which email address was this sent to?
It was sent to gkoenig@gmx.com.
So he emailed something to himself.
And is this artifact a true and accurate copy of the email you found addressed to gkoenig@gmx.com from item number 48 in the last copy examined?
Yes, except for the highlighted portion.
Yeah, see, there are highlights to this exhibit.
Yes.
Okay. And as you explained earlier, do the highlights mean anything?
No.
Do they mean that the highlighted word is more important or less important?
No.
Okay.
I ordered myself some new glasses from this company.
Actually, I am ordering new glasses for that company, so I'll let you know if they're any good. Yeah, I just ordered from that glasses company, actually, so I'll let you know if anybody's interested, if it's any good. All right. Let's
All right, Detective, I'm publishing State's Exhibit 107. We're on page 1 here. Could you explain who the email is from?
Yes. So the email is from Walmart.com.
Okay. And one more time, who the email was addressed to?
It was addressed to or sent to the email gkoenig@gmx.com.
What's this one now?
And the email may speak for itself a little bit here, Detective, but what is the email about?
It's a notification informing the user that your package has arrived.
And we're going to go to
Pretty
page 2 of the exhibit.
self-explanatory. You ordered
How many
something from
items
Walmart.
arrived?
What did you get?
There were 2 items.
Okay. And
Hidden voice
what was item
recorder.
2 that arrived?
So item number
Here
2
we
is
go.
called Night 64 gigabyte, which is parentheses 800 hours, hidden voice recorder, HD audio recorder.
Hidden voice recorder from
Not sure
Walmart.
how to pronounce this
Walmart,
word.
what are you promoting here?
Gabadora
Dude?
de Vol SPL.
Activated
Voice activated recorder, spy device, comma, a secret recording device.
$53.
Okay. And going back to page 1 of the exhibit, Detective, what date did this email come in?
So it came in on December 31st, 2024 at 8:52 a.m.
And does the email also state when the order was placed?
So just a word of advice from a therapist and a human being. If you're trying to work on your marriage and recover from an infidelity and your partner is being open with you, going to therapy with you, trying to be honest with you, showing them their phone, don't purchase a freaking recording device. Don't do that. You are literally being like what you don't want your partner to be. You are literally becoming deceptive yourself. So if you are having that many issues with not being able to trust your spouse that you need to record everything that's on their phone, that's a serious red flag. That's beyond. Like, this is ridiculous.
And when was that?
This is
So
not
the
helpful
order
to
date was on
marriage.
Friday, December 27, 2024.
Unless you're
Got it.
just looking
Okay.
for
I'm going to take
more
the
to
exhibit down, Detective, and retrieve the exhibit from you.
explain your spouse with. Like, I mean, it's not helpful in any way. It's not helpful thing to do.
And I'll head State Exhibit 107 to the court.
We've been going long, but I think we'll continue the bill.
I think that too. I think what these are my observations and guesses because I'm just guessing from afar, but some of my therapist's brain is going, perhaps the spiral for him, partly the spiral for him, because, oh, sorry, I just dropped something, is that this whole thing was beyond his control. And I think, given his profession and just maybe how he perceived the relationship, he perceived that, he knew everything that was going on, and his ego, his brain just can't handle the fact that this happened to him, let alone anybody else. And he can't grapple with the fact that he's out of control. He's out of control of what his wife did. He's out of control of what his wife said, the connection that she made with someone else, that she was, obviously messaging another man way too much if she's in a committed relationship. There's no doubt about that. And I'd be interested, to know what, all the motivations, healthy or not healthy, were to record more, to find more evidence. He's lying to you.
108 and 109.
Well, he already said it on the stand. He wanted to control what she was saying to other people, which is very hypocritical, because she didn't do that to him. He made sure that her best friend knew about the affair before he even spoke to her about it. So he can basically do what he wants, but she's not allowed to talk to people or even have a different opinion about things than him, which is scary.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Very scary.
Let
me take a break.
I'm handing you now.
Quite a while now.
Exhibit 108 and 109. And if you need to refer to them on the back side of the last page of each exhibit, there's a little sticker with the number if you need to find it. You take a look through both exhibits, and when you're done, let me know.
Whoa. What's that?
So many commercials, man. I will get this off of our screen quickly. There we go. I'm live, so I missed the commercials.
What is that artifact?
So it's an email.
Okay. Who was the email from?
So the email is from a user, gkoenig at proinbox.com.
Is that one of the emails you mentioned earlier?
Yes, it was one of the email that was associated with the iPhone 13 Pro, evidence item number 42.
Okay. And who was the email addressed to?
It was addressed to a person by the email, just by looking at the name, Andrea Miller at, I think it's like KYNDRYL.com.
Messages there.
And this exhibit states Exhibit 108. Is that a true and accurate copy of the artifact that you observed during your examination of item number 48, the laptop in this case?
Yes.
At this point, the state moves Exhibit 108 into evidence.
Still talking. No objection, Your Honor. The witness mark for identification of State Exhibit 108 is received into evidence.
And Detective, could you take a look at 109 that you have as well?
Yes.
Do you recognize what this is?
Make
Yes.
this a little bit faster.
What type of artifacts are these?
So these were email, like a purchase from LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Okay. And where did you find these emails on the computer?
Oh, it wasn't the email file.
Okay, sorry. Who were the emails addressed to?
It was addressed to the email address gkoenig at proinbox.com.
Okay. And how many pages are in this exhibit?
Six.
Okay. And is this exhibit is it a true and accurate copy of the emails addressed to gkoenig at proinbox.com regarding LinkedIn?
Minus the highlight, yes.
Okay. And again, there are portions of Exhibit 109 that have highlights.
Yes.
And I'll ask you this every time. Do the highlights mean anything with regards to the information in the exhibit?
No.
Okay. And they are true and accurate copy otherwise?
Yes.
Okay, at this point, the state moves Exhibit 109 into evidence.
So talking. No objection. The witness mark for identification of State Exhibit 109 is received into evidence.
Okay, Detective Nemo, we're going to publish 108 on the screen. Okay. And could you tell us
Why
who
like
this
more
email,
context?
what email address, or could you show us on the screen which email address this came from?
This is the email.
So the
I'm
email
telling
address
you,
came
my-
from the
This was
user
on
under Gerhard
12/6/2024.
Koenig under the email address gkoenig at
I can't believe he
proinbox.com.
did this.
And what date and time was the email sent?
It was sent on December 6, 2024 at 8:24 a.m.
And who was the recipient, or what email address was the recipient of the email?
So it's andrew.miller at kyndryl.com.
And what was the subject of the email?
The subject was titled "Your Husband, Jeff."
Okay. I'm not going to ask you to read the whole email, Detective, but to publish it, I will leave it up on the screen for a few seconds, if that's okay.
Okay.
On WhatsApp and my wife has been deleting most of the messages that I can share with you that I have. So, an inappropriate relationship they have been deliberately hiding from us. That's pretty okay. An inappropriate relationship. I wonder how she responded to this. This was at what, 6 in the morning?
I'll leave the exhibit up for just
Curious
another
how you
couple of
can
seconds, and I'll take it
do that as well. I wonder how that was received.
Okay,
It's
I'm going
again,
to take down state.
I'm sure he didn't ask Ariel if he could do this. I'm sure he just went ahead and did it, but
Okay, Detective Unuma,
Was
I'm going to
upset.
retrieve the exhibits from you now.
I'm very curious to find out what the other wife said.
Above 108 and 109.
So I ask you a little bit more, take over in about 5 minutes.
Okay. We can get at least one more exhibit. Okay. Again, I'm going to hand you two exhibits at once here, Detective. States 110 and 111.
Thank you.
Okay, Detective. I've had you states 110 and 111. Could you take a look at those for us?
That's paper rustling. Yeah. So yeah, he sent an email outing them both. Wonder when Ariel found out about that.
Do you recognize what I've just handed you?
Yes.
Okay, what are these?
So these are artifacts of the searches those made on the computer from Google searches regarding hikes.
Oh damn.
You said these are artifacts regarding hikes?
Yeah, regarding hikes. Oh, it has other things too, but regarding hikes.
And are these artifacts, sorry to clarify, are they search history artifacts?
Yes.
Okay, and what is the date range of these search history artifacts?
So so it's from February 28, 2025, and then the last one is March 4th, 2025.
Okay. Are these true and accurate copies of the search history artifacts related to hiking?
So he started Googling about hikes in February, the beginning of February.
That you found on item 48, the laptop with the username G Coney.
Yep. So the first one, that's one I highlighted during my search under my report. The second one, it's highlighted.
Okay.
And again, it doesn't mean anything.
The highlights again don't mean anything.
Correct.
Okay. So other than the highlights, are they true and accurate copies of the artifacts you found on the laptop?
Yes.
Okay, at this point, the state moves exhibit 110 and 111 into evidence.
I would like to know what the search
No
is. That
objection.
I'm really
It
hoping
was
for
marked
the
for
rest.
identification of states exhibit 110.
Break, but
Proceed into evidence.
We've been on here for about an
Detective,
hour.
I'm going to publish states.
It's been all of this
110.
police officer, and mainly
Okay, could
talking
you
about the
explain to
Reddit
us
searches and
what
Google
we're looking at?
searches, basically.
Okay, so this is
And the
what
email.
I use for the Axiom software. So I filtered it. And if you look at it, these are all search history relating to hikes.
Read this.
That was the search term was
I cannot
provided
see that.
from the search warrant.
I'm a glasses wearer,
Okay.
but I can't see it.
And
So hopefully someone else.
we're going to move on to states exhibit 111. And we're going to go through each.
Now we
page here,
secret
detective.
hikes.
So could
Secret
you
hikes.
explain to us,
Why are you?
going from the top? So page 1 of exhibit 111. What is the search?
Gosh.
The search term for this
Hikes.
was Maui secret hikes.
Okay. And
That's not good.
how does the software pull that search term?
So it was the artifact was from the Google search database. And as far as I was explaining earlier, if the person actually typed it in or if was it one of those Dropbox. So as you can see, is as Q as inquiry. So the person had to type in Maui first, and then afterwards, it's going to have a Dropbox. But in this case particular, it tells you over here, the original search inquiry was Maui secret hikes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a very significant detail. He didn't accidentally click on something that suggested him to say, I'm looking for a Maui secret hike. He typed in that he wanted it to be a secret hike. He wanted it to be a private hike. He wanted to be secluded. That moves to motive and premeditation of this.
And could you point out
Hike
to
situation.
which area it said the original search query was?
Yeah, right over here.
And I'm gonna
Again, just to remind us one more time, what user on the laptop is putting this search query in?
So it's under the user G20.
And what date and time was this search done?
It was done on February 28, 2025 at 2:55 p.m.
So in the middle
We're
of
going to
the
go to
day.
page 2 of the exhibit.
It
Could
wasn't
you tell
like
us the date and time
in the middle
as
of
well
the
as
night.
original search query for this?
secret
package.
hike.
Okay, the date and time is
Secret hike.
February 28, 2025 at 3:13 p.m. The original search query was secret hike Waikamoi Falls.
Right, we're going to move on to page 3, detective. Could you tell us what the date and time of the search was, as well as the search query?
Okay, so the date and time was February 28, 2025 at 3:17 p.m. The original search word was best hikes on Oahu.
We're going to go
Best
to page 4. Detective, are we still looking at the Google
Best
search for page
trails.
4 of this exhibit?
Not this one.
Okay. Could you tell us then the last visited date and time of this page, as well as the title of the page?
Yeah, so this is the website called alltrails.com. The last visited date time was February 28, 2025 at 3:17 p.m. The title of this is called 10 Best Trails and Hikes in Oahu by All Trails.
Detective, we're going to go to page 5 of the exhibit. Could you tell us
Easy
what
hike.
sort of website we're looking at with this artifact?
So this is a
Visit.
YouTube video
Mhm.
based on if you look at the URL, it's youtube.com, and so a video file.
Okay, and what date and time was this YouTube video last visited?
It was February 28, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. And the title was called Easy Hike on Oahu, Makapu'u Lighthouse Trail, and it's a YouTube.
Page 6 of the exhibit, detective. What are we looking at with this page?
So it's another YouTube video. It was visited on February 28, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. The title is called The Top 10 Easy Oahu Hikes for Everyone, Hawaii YouTube.
Move on to page number 7 of the exhibit. What type of web page is this, detective?
So this is a Google search. So the person typed in the word.
Okay, and what was the original search query?
So the original search query was difficult.
Okay, and what was the ultimate search term?
So the search term was difficult hikes Oahu.
Okay, how do you get from that original search query, difficult, to the search term, difficult hikes Oahu?
So that's one I was mentioning earlier in the Google search bar. When you start typing in, for this example, difficult, and you're gonna have all these drop box that tries to predict
Yeah.
what you're trying to type next.
And what date and time was this search about difficult hikes?
But they did already establish that the one that he searched by typing all of the letters in was the secret hikes one.
Of the exhibit?
Secret hikes.
What kind of website is this?
So this is, the website is called journeyarrow.com/Oahu-hikes.
Okay. And what date and time was this visited?
It was visited on February 28, 2025 at 3:36 p.m.
And could you explain what the transition type link means?
So the user probably clicked on some kind of website that took them to this page.
Okay. Page number 9 of the exhibit, detective. What website are we looking at? What's the last visit date and time? What's the title?
So, okay, so the last visited was on February 28, 2025 at 3:36 p.m. The title of this webpage is called The 35 Best Hikes on Oahu, the Ultimate Guide.
And what does the URL say?
So the URL said that this was under the, the Stairway to Heaven, Oahu, Hawaii webpage.
Stairway to
And last
Heaven.
page of the exhibit, detective. What is the website we're looking at? And what is the title and what is the last visit date and time?
Okay, so it was last visited on March 3rd, 2025 at 7:19 a.m. The title of this page is called
AM.
Kalipuka Hike on Oahu, Hawaii, the Hiker's Guide.
All right, I'll take the exhibit down to technology, the exhibits.
Oh, it's the one they went on.
Yes.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Adrian, thanks for hanging in there. It's a long morning session.
Oh,
We'll
it's
take
a
our
long
morning
one.
recess. We'll come back shortly after 11 o'clock. We'll go as far as we can before we take our lunch break. Leave your notebooks on the chair. All right.
Nice George. Okay, well, he definitely was on Reddit a lot. He purchased a spy device after they were working on their marriage. I'd like to know specifically what the dates were when they started marriage counseling. I think that the first session was like December 24th. So they started marriage counseling. He was still going on Reddit a lot around that time. And then in February, I believe it said that he purchased a spy device and emailed the spouse. I would imagine that would cause more problems if they were continuing to go to therapy. I don't know how many times they went to therapy, if they went to therapy once, but highly concerning behavior. Secret hikes, that's red flag for me too. So I'm going to see if there's anything else. I'm going to be probably going off soon, but let's see if there's any more good information here for this guy.
At this point, the state will move to admit exhibit 112 in evidence.
So I'm going to make it a little bit slower.
For identification as exhibit 112 is received.
Detective, I'm going to publish the exhibit 112 onto the screen.
Too fast. Sorry, guys.
Oh, and we're going to go through a couple pages, and I'm going to zoom in on areas and ask you to read them first. But before we start into the web page, I'm going to zoom into the very top of the page here. What is that part of the web page?
Okay, so this is the URL from the Wayback Machine. So this is basically, it's indicating that this is the website I visited. And then the date, the 2025, is going to be November, or was it January 14th? So that's the date that was able to capture for this exhibit,
So
for the website,
2025 01
for 114.
14. That's the archive date.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I'm going to take that down. And we're going to go to page 2. And I'm going to zoom in to the first paragraph. And we're going to look at line 2 and 3. Detective, could you read us the sentence that starts in that middle of line 2?
Yes. The Pali Lookout itself is a popular tourist spot, but 99% of visitors to the lookout don't hike. They just look out over the valley. The Pali Notches hike begins on the right-hand side of the parking lookout.
Okay, thank you, Detective.
%. Okay, so that sounds like that would meet the criteria that he was looking for when he searched about secret hikes. 99%, that's a very high percentage of hikers that don't go further. So if he had premeditation, then him wanting her to go further up makes a lot of sense, because 99% of the time there wasn't anybody up there. I think I said it before and I'll say it again. She didn't have a good feeling She listened to her instinct. She said no. She didn't have a good feeling about going up higher, and she said no. And he was mad about it. He left. It was her birthday, and he left her there, and he went further up by himself. So why would he do that? Why would he just leave her and go up? Sounds to me like he might have been a little bit upset. Sounds to me like his plan or his thoughts about how things were going to go got thwarted again. So again, I thank God that she did not get pushed off the cliff. I have no doubt in my mind or my bones. I don't feel in any way as a professional and a person that she tried to push him off this cliff. I don't believe it for a second. Body language, everything. The story is weak. The language is weak. I know there's so many videos on YouTube, but I am a law nerd. I don't know if anybody else is a law nerd, but if you are, welcome. And I also watched a couple of videos this week about body language analysis, and it's deception filled. So I am just very grateful, but just listen to your instinct, everybody. Don't go with someone. Don't do something with someone, even if it's your spouse, if you don't feel comfortable. So it's a lesson for us all. Thanks for hanging out with me. Feel free to leave likes and comments, and we'll be back. We'll be back to do some more. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now. Calm down, girl. Out.